And I just love to hear the sound of kendang and the gamelan, and you cannot help yourself to, like to dance.
For me, gamelan music is one of the great music forms of the world, and it should be more known in outside Indonesia.
Aaron and Nita met when they were both students at Yogyakarta State University, or formerly known as IKIP Yogyakarta. They got married and decided to settle down in Bendigo, Australia, and that's how the story begins.
As soon as I arrived in Australia in '94, I started in teaching dance in after-school care, Middle Park after-school care, and we performed that for the school concert. So yeah, '94. So that was 28 years ago.
And the apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
My sister and I from a very young age, so we probably when we were old enough to pick up a tabuh and play.
Even when I was 4, I was already doing tarik kijang with my mum. Even when I was so small I could hardly lift the tabuh, I was already playing.
When we started, the kids were young and we were practicing, and it was just sort of like not a question of, would they like to. They just were there and they seemed to like it.
When I was 19, I went to ISI Yogyakarta to study karawitan for a year, which was an amazing experience, probably the best year of my life.
After I finished school, I wanted to live in Indonesia for a while, so I did the Dharma Siswa scholarship program and studied seni tari and karawitan at ISI Solo. And so I really began to learn by myself as an adult, much more about gamelan and dancing.
In 2006, Aaron and Nita decided to form a community-based gamelan group called Mugi Rahayu.
Well, we practice every Saturday, usually from 2 to 5. And then we perform to local festivals and a lot of different events of fundraising and a lot of little performances around Bendigo and sometimes in Melbourne as well.
When everybody comes, it could be up to 20 or 25 people. We have people who are Indonesian and their families, often they're married to Australians and they bring their kids sometimes. And then people who are from different backgrounds, different ethnic backgrounds like Chinese, some of them are very interested, and just general Australians as well.
My parents' gamelan group, but also in many of the other gamelan groups from Melbourne, there actually is a lot of Australians in the groups, sometimes more than Indonesian people, which is really interesting.
Their love for Indonesian music and dance doesn't stop there. From school to other schools, with sincerity and joy, they introduce Indonesian arts and culture to many children in Australia.
We both teachers teaching Indonesian, but then we decided that maybe we could offer gamelan. So we started teaching gamelan and dance at school.
According to Aaron, the biggest challenge in introducing traditional music and dance is to compete with the screen time spent among children.
But there was always the problem of too much screen time taking time away from people in Australia. So that's always the challenge, to sort of try and get them off the screen and get them grabbing a tabuh and having a go at something that's a community group and an artistic endeavour at the same time. But we try.
For this family, this is their identity and will always be.
Indonesia has a lot of different cultures which we really have to cherish, and it'd be really, really good to pass it on to not just your kids, but also to share it with the community.
For me, it's definitely part of a sense of identity. There's many ways to connect to a culture, but that's the way that for me I find most meaningful.
I keep playing gamelan, I keep dancing, I can keep that connection really alive and feel that part of me even while I'm here in Australia. So I think that it's really important for me.
Getting into culture and interesting cultures, especially with rhythm and all that sort of thing, and playing together in a community, a group, it's a very healthy group activity to do, can be a lot of fun.
And I would like people just have the same experience, just to enjoy gamelan and dance and be happy.
Mugi Rahayu gives its members who come from different backgrounds the feeling of being connected to each other through gamelan music. It's critical to preserve our cultures, histories, and heritage for obvious purposes. We believe that preserving culture allows humanity to recognize what makes us all human. Muhammad Andri, reporting for See Today, Bendigo.
There you